Hi guys, I want to take a minute and talk about cassava. So, what is cassava? I want to talk about what it is, the health benefits, and maybe some of those downsides and who shouldn't be eating it. So, let's just talk about what cassava is first off. So, cassava is a very starchy root. Typically, we eat the root part, and actually, cassava has a couple different names that you may know it by. So you know it by cassava root, you know it by yucca root, and you may even know that tapioca starch is made from the root itself, just made into a starchy flour. So it is very starchy. It is something that a lot of people use as a replacement for potatoes, right? For corn and for gluten. This is why people use it. It has a lot of applications when you're trying to avoid other things. So that's the reason why it's come about, and this is why we eat it now. There are some countries and actually cultures that it's a staple in. So let's talk about the benefits, the health benefits of what cassava root can do for you. So cassava root actually is well known to be a great digestive aid. It's something that really helps the gut microbiome a little bit, support it, and make sure it's a little more balanced with the right inulin and things that it needs. It also helps with supporting the immune system, and this is mainly because of that vitamin C that's in there, so that's very helpful. Cassava root is also known to help with heart health. It really helps to support blood pressure balancing, and it's got some potassium in there, so of course this is why we're seeing it as a heart healthy thing. And let's make sure we hit it all. So cassava also is known for eye health, and that's because of that vitamin A, and it also is it's an antioxidant. So typically this is what we see helps prevent diseases and other problems down the way, right? Repairs some things in the cells. Very, very helpful. So it also is a weight manager. This is a lot of people use cassava as a good weight management, and the reason is when you eat it, you feel very full. And so the body gets this signal, oh, I'm full, stop eating. And people love that, right? So you can sit down, eat a smaller amount of food, and feel like you're good and satisfied and walk away and be full for quite a while after. So that's one of the reasons why people look to cassava as a good option when they're looking to shed a few pounds, or maybe even just change some eating habits, because sometimes eating habits is not just about what we're eating, it's the emotional part, right? So once you learn and teach yourself how to eat less of it, then it's even more helpful. So the other thing it does is it helps to regulate blood sugar levels. So this is very, very helpful for people with diabetes and people who are looking for better options. It's not as high in the glycemic index as a potato would be. So that's why people use it as a potato replacer. In fact, actually, I used yucca root when I went on Food Network and I competed on Guys Grocery Games. I actually cooked yucca fries. I mean, it's great. It's a fun, good flavored thing that a lot of other people don't use. So it's kind of a unique food, right? So what else is it going to do for you? Bone health. I love this. And the reason it's good bone health is because the potassium and the magnesium together. So those with osteoporosis may be looking for some little bit of help. This can be in that direction, right, to help you. So you can see why people have turned to cassava flour for a lot of things. And so cassava or tapioca shows up in a lot of places, right? I see it in grain-free chips. So it's like tortilla chips that have no corn in them. So people can actually enjoy it, or any grains whatsoever. So people will use it for that. I've seen it in burritos or tortillas that, people make. I've seen it, tapioca, of course, is a filler that they're using as a starch instead of cornstarch in breads that are gluten-free, or even in crackers. So you'll see it pop in ingredient-wise in a lot of different ways that you may not even realize it's in there. So now you know what to look for. So let's talk about some of the problems with cassava in general. So one of my biggest things is that people, first and foremost, you have to always cook it. Now, The root is absolutely edible, but so are the leaves. You just cannot ever eat them raw. And the reason is the leaves actually have a high amount of protein in them, which is good. But the reason you don't eat them raw or the root raw is because of the cyanide in it. So there's a pretty significant amount of cyanide in it, and that's why you never eat it raw. You need to cook the root, peel it. You don't use the outer part of it. You need to cook it really well, and the leaves too when you cook them, not just a steam, but a really good saute. So the problem is, as you know, cyanide can really build up and be toxic to the body. Now, there are other foods that we eat pretty regularly with some cyanide in it, small amounts. Small amounts over time, not an issue. Even apple seeds have them, and some people eat apples with a little bit of seeds go down. It's not going to be a huge issue because you're just doing a little bit, right? Well, cassava and tapioca can have a significant amount in there that over time is really going to build up a little bit faster than maybe some of those other foods that contain it. So that's something to remember. So the other thing about cassava is that it is it's a latex or in the latex family. So those who have allergies to latex or latex foods, like bananas or mangoes or kiwi, that family of food may not do well with cassava. And that would be a different reaction. That would actually be an allergic reaction that might happen to cassava or tapioca, either one. And sometimes people don't know to look for tapioca because if they're eating bread and they're having an allergic reaction, they start looking at all the other ingredients. No one's going to suspect the tapioca, right? But it is in the latex family, so that's something to look out for. Other problems with cassava, well, it is an anti-nutrient. That's a video for a whole nother day, but in general, anti-nutrients are going to block the absorption of other nutrients and minerals. So what specifically cassava does is cassava is going to block your zinc, iron, and vitamin A, and a little bit of protein as well. So you really want to be careful if that's a problem for you. So a lot of people with maybe who have problems with anemia, this is not going to be for you, right? Because over time, it's just going to make it worse. And it works against you if you're actually trying to get iron in you, right? So having said that, it's helpful for those who have iron toxicity or hemochromatosis, because then it's going to actually help block that. This is a way to use your food. You just have to know about it and get your education. That's all it's about. So what else are the problems with cassava? So cassava is also lowers iodine in the body. So why is that a problem? So iodine can really hit the thyroid, and if you have problems with your thyroid and you need to support your thyroid, you don't want less iodine, you want more. And people who have lower amounts of iodine actually have less energy. So we have a lot of things in our society that actually deplete iodine in the body that we're not even aware of. It's a lot of foods, and it's usually the junk foods, preservatives, food dyes, but it's also herbicides, pesticides, it's 5G, it's pollutants in the water, it's a lot of things that will reduce iodine in the body. So we don't need anything else to come along and make it even worse. That's a problem, or something to at least consider. So it also lowers the thyroid hormone in the body. So again, if you have Hashimoto's disease or a low functioning thyroid, you really want to be careful eating cassava. It may not be for you at all in any form. So you really need to look at that. Some of the other problems that it has is some neurological impacts. So those who have epilepsy, it can actually make seizures worse. And for those who have problems with like small children, it has made neurological problems in their mood and emotional state, behavioral problems, because they're smaller. So here's the thing about cassava or tapioca. It seems that it hits children and infants way more significantly. So giving your kiddos those grain-free chips all the time as a chip alternative, instead of having potatoes or instead of having corn, may not be ideal for them after all, because it does build up for them. Breastfeeding moms, not a good idea. What mom's body can handle is one thing. That's okay. What baby's body can handle is another. And now we may start seeing neurological issues popping up. And this is, children and infants, their brains and their bodies are still developing, to the age of 7 physically. And you really want to give it support rather than cause an impact or a very toxic load when they're doing that. So it may not be ideal for them. So let's talk about who may want to really limit cassava and tapioca, or maybe eliminate it altogether. So small children and infants, I would do it in very small doses, not a lot, not high doses of it. So also those who are prone to malnutrition or malabsorption. If you have a malabsorption issue, that's going to be you. If you have celiac disease, this is also going to be you. Again, it's a malabsorption issue. As you are healing up celiac disease in your body, you don't want anything else to block more nutrients, right? And people with celiac disease have a propensity toward gathering new allergies. This is just what happens in their sensitive body until they can heal the gut. And as that happens, cassava may pop up or tapioca may pop up quicker as an allergy than other foods if you eat it or binge eat it a lot or it's in your daily diet. The other problem would be people with thyroid issues, as I've mentioned, right? So people with thyroid issues, it's going to be lowering your thyroid. Hashimoto's, this is maybe probably a no for you until you get a chance to heal that in your body. And people with weakened immune systems, this may not be ideal. Yes, in one aspect, it's going to help boost the immune system with the vitamin C, but if you do it over time, over and over, you're building up more toxicity, more that cyanide. Now you're weakening your immune system. You're going in the other direction, right? So the thing about cassava is it is great at absorbing toxins in the soil. So farmers actually use this to plant when they're changing from conventional fields to organic, and they want to really soak up all the herbicides and pesticides. They will plant it, it soaks it up, all those herbicides and pesticides, right into the tuber that we eat. That's the problem. So what happens is, great for farmers, great for soil, not so great for us. The herbicides, the pesticides it soaks up go into the food. Then we consume it. If you're going to eat it, it's got to be organic. It's got to be. But no, it also is good at getting all the pollutants out of the air, pollutants in the water. It will pull it right into the potato. It also pulls in heavy metals. So it'll pull heavy metals from the soil, trace mineral metals from the soil, and concentrate it into the cassava root. If you have a problem with heavy metals, this may not be ideal for you. So again, it's not necessarily that cassava is bad or tapioca is bad all in all. It's just about watching your levels and the amount that you do. If you have small children, don't do it all the time. If you have celiac disease, maybe check your gluten-free items. Maybe make sure you're not doing it every single day. Again, natural healing and health is totally doable. It's all about educating yourself.